We're here again. For the second time in 3 seasons, we're back in League 2 again. We're starting to become a bit of a yo-yo club now, aren't we? And in this video, I'm just going to talk about my thoughts on the season. Because, to be honest, I don't really do enough videos like this. I don't talk about Port Vale. I don't talk about my club. Obviously, if you're not a Port Vale fan who is watching this video, first of all, hi. And secondly, if this isn't for you, I do understand, but I am just going to be sitting here talking passionately about my football club and how bad it's gotten this season. And kind of just give my view, which I think is different to some other people's views, to be honest. But yeah, once again, we have been relegated from League 1, and this is now the 4th time I've seen it happen, I think. It's the 3rd time in 10 seasons and the 2nd time in 3 seasons. Now, I'm going to be honest, I went into the season full of optimism, full of hope. We just got promoted under Darren Moore. I mean, we weren't playing the best football. I'm going to say it now, like, we may have finished 2nd in League 2 last year, but it never really felt like we were that good. So why I had so much hope going into League 1, I don't know, especially with Darren Moore's League 1 record. I mean, on paper, we made some great signings in the summer. Signings like Jordan Gabriel, great signing for League 1, a League 1 player, played in the Championship. Cam Humphreys, a really good centre-back in my personal opinion. Ben Waine, whilst not a goal scorer, was kind of up and coming in a way. He was kind of really liked at Plymouth, but it was mainly because he tried rather than score goals. But you never know what you're going to get out of someone when you sign them. George Hall was the big one, of course. We actually spent quite a bit of money on him. I'll be honest, one of the best dribblers of the ball I've seen at the Vale in my time watching the Vale. Like, one of the best players at controlling the ball, running with the ball, being able to do whatever they want with it. It's just a shame he's got no end product. We signed Rico Richards permanently, who was really good for us in League 2, and then we just like, yeah, he can go back to League 2 again. Like, why would you sign someone permanently who you had in the previous season on loan and then instantly loan them out? How does that make any sense? I mean, of course, we lost Laurent Talai in the summer. I mean, that was a huge loss for us. He was the one who made the front line tick. He's the one who made it work. And then bringing in DeJean Brown, who, I mean, we all thought, I feel like a lot of us thought at the start of the season, you know, up-and-coming player, did really well in the National League, you know, those kind of signings can work. But is DeJean Brown really a professional footballer? Marco Morosi, experienced goalkeeper, Championship, League 1, League 2, comes in, and I'll tell you what, he's not really been given a fair shot, in my opinion. Now, don't get me wrong, the game at Rotherham, first game of the season, he was his fault for the first 2 goals. But he'd also not played a lot of football over the last year. But at the same time, I feel like without his mistakes in the first bit of the season, we wouldn't have Joe Gauci in goal. And Joe Gauci has been as good as a goalkeeper playing for a relegated team can be, I guess. Obviously, the signing of Devante Cole at the end of the summer transfer window as well. Really good signing, in my opinion. And I feel like if we'd have kept him for the whole season, we might not have finished quite as low as we did. I'm not saying we would have stayed up, but he was the only one scoring the goals. But the signs were there from early on that we were going to struggle this season. We went on a decent run in September. We were unbeaten in like 6 games or something like that. We won 3 games in a row. We beat Barnsley 2-0 on the 27th of September. And then we didn't win another game in the league in 2025. And when you look at it that way, and when you see that Darren Moore was sacked after Boxing Day, he definitely should have gone sooner. A lot of people are saying it's the Plymouth game in November where he should have been sacked. We lost 1-0 at home to Plymouth, and that put us bottom of the league. That is probably the latest that he should have gone. Basically a month before he actually did end up going. A lot of people were also saying, like, when we lost 1-0 away at Wigan, which was in October, that's when the signs really started to show that we were crap. I mean, the first point I thought he should have gone was when we lost at Bolton. I didn't go to Wigan away, but when we lost at Bolton 4-0, that was the first time I saw some of the fans starting to turn on Darren Moore. Might have happened sooner, I don't know, but that's the first time I saw it, and that's the first time I thought, yeah, this isn't good. And John Brady has been such a breath of fresh air. He's almost a polar opposite to Darren Moore, really. You know, Darren Moore, really well media trained. The thing is, he knows what to say. I'll rephrase that. He knows what not to say. He skirts around answers to questions and just answers them with the same media trained stuff. John Brady just tells it as it is. I mean, obviously he's media trained as well, as are most coaches and managers, but he says it how it is, and I just love that. I like his passion. He's passionate. Darren Moore did not come across as passionate. I'm not saying he wasn't. I feel like he's one of those people who, in front of the camera, he's this calm, composed guy who knows what he's talking about, but in the changing room, he's probably the complete opposite. And if we'd have got him in sooner, if we'd have sacked Darren Moore after that Plymouth match and got John Brady in like a week or two later, who knows where we'd be? We might have still been in League One next season. It would have been a stretch, but you never know. The funniest thing about this season, we spent more time on the bottom of the table than any other team this season, and yet we've ended up having a better season statistically than the previous time we got relegated. Yes, okay, we only got one more point. That time we got 41 points, this time we've got 42. We've drawn an extra game instead of lost it. But when you think where we were when we appointed John Brady's done an excellent job. And I am excited for our season in League 2 with him, and hopefully it is just the one season. One of the pressing topics amongst all the fans has been Matt Hancock especially. Now, am I Matt Hancock out? I feel like we need to get someone else in to make footballing decisions. I'm not saying someone to replace Matt Hancock as CEO, but I'm saying like someone like a sporting director or a director of football, someone who can make better footballing decisions. I mean, obviously, be careful what you wish for, because the last director of football went really well, but it just needs someone to work, even if it's work alongside Matt Hancock, so he can focus on the club side of things, the business side of things, and then we have someone else working on the football side of things. So it's either get someone else in to work with Matt Hancock and make the footballing decisions, or get someone in to replace him. He reports to Carol Shanahan, doesn't he? He reports to Carol, and she probably has a little bit of a say, but at the end of the day, he is the one making the decisions, I'm pretty sure. That's why he's there. That's why he was appointed in the first place, so the owners didn't have a direct effect on stuff. And also, if we'd have brought in John Brady sooner, he would have had a full January transfer window to try and get us out of the mess we were in. Instead, he only ended up using about the last week of it. Ethan Archer, decent signing on loan. I'd happily have him back. Tyler McGlaw, unsure on Tyler McGlaw, because he's kind of like, that is an example of Brady calling on a player that he knows and has managed before. And Tyler McGlaw has played at this level as well, so it's not like he's some sort of, non-league player. Although, to be fair, he was playing in non-league when we signed him. He was playing for Workington, I believe. Martin Sharif is... The thing with Martin Sharif is at least he's got a bit of physicality about him, but he can't score to save his life. He scored twice for us this season, I think, over the course of the half a season he's been here. But even like today, I'm recording this on the day of the final game against Lincoln. We've played it already. It's now the night after, basically. And he missed a sitter again. He was about 6 yards out and put it wide. But in my personal opinion, he's much better than DeJourn Brown. What a piece of business bringing on El Hernandez in, by the way. I don't know how we pulled that off. That we seem to make one of those signings every season where we look at it and go, how have we done that? It was Alfie Devine last time we were in League One. This time it was definitely on El Hernandez. Like, how have we managed to pull someone of that caliber? Yes, okay, he's getting on a little bit age-wise, and he's not really played any decent amount of football for a couple of years now. But this is a guy who's played in the Premier League. This is a guy who's won the Championship twice. And over the last few games where he's been in the squad and been in the lineup more and more, you can see he's still got it. He is someone that we need to offer a contract to, because him in League 2, defences can just forget it. And also Grant Ward as well, a player who'd barely featured until the last couple of games of the season, and he comes in out of nowhere and smashes it. Just talking about a few of the players that are still in contract for next season, who I don't think will actually stay at the club. I don't think Jordan Shipley will be staying. These play basically transfer listed, available for transfer. I think Jordan Shipley will be available to move. I think Jaheim Headley will as well, because I'll be honest, obviously Liam Gordon has been our main left back this season. Jaheim Headley's kind of watched from the sidelines. He's featured in a few games recently, but Liam Gordon's always had the start over Jaheim Headley, and there's been times when Headley's not even been in the squad. So I don't think that Headley is very well thought of by John Brady, and I think that he'll keep Gordon and integrate Jack Shorrock more, or get a new left back. But if I was to compare this season to the last time we went down, I, as mad as it sounds, prefer this season. I'm not just saying that because we ended up getting 1 more point. The last time we went down, I didn't like that squad at all. It was a squad full of just unlikable players. Yeah, there was some that you could have a connection with, you know, like Ben Garrity, Ethan Chislett, Tom Sang, Connor Ripley, players like that. But for the most part, it was just full of unlikable players who just didn't look like they cared. Now, at points this season, some of these players didn't look like they cared either. But as it came to the end of the season, you could tell they did. And I feel more of a connection to the squad this season and to the club than I did last time. Last time we got relegated, I'd never felt more disconnected. After that time as well, I had no hope for us in League 2 at all. And look at what we did. But, I mean, we go again next season. It's probably going to be another complete rebuild. But I'm very excited to see what kind of players we get, what kind of system we play. I mean, John Brady looks to favour a 4-3-3. That's something we haven't played in years. That was the system we played when we got promoted under Mickey Adams, and that was a fun season, that was. That was probably the most fun season I've had watching the Vale. We just literally adopted a score more than the opposition strategy. But I do think the owners really need to have a look at the football side more, and I think Carol needs to just slightly put her fan hat on a little bit, because remember, she supports the club. She's a fan. And I feel like if she'd have put that hat on and just ever so slightly thought about it from a fan's point of view earlier this season, Darren Moore probably would have been gone earlier. Because as a fan of the club and the owner, surely you've kind of got to, surely you can read the room a little bit when you're in the ground and the whole crowd is chanting against Darren Moore. But yeah, overall, whilst this season has been really, really poor, at least there's been good moments this season. You know, we've had our moments. We had a chance. We did give ourselves, the fact that we gave ourselves even a slight slither of hope of staying up, that says everything about how well John Brady's done since he's come into the club. Because for a long time we had absolutely no hope whatsoever. We were like 8 points adrift at the bottom of the league at one point, and okay, we've ended up finishing 10 points from safety this season, but there was a point where we were that far behind at the bottom of the league itself. So credit to John Brady and credit to a lot of the squads as well, because they have shown up at times this season. There's been grit, there's been determination. You can see that a lot of these players really did care in the end, but unfortunately it was just all too late. So hopefully we go again next season, and another promotion charge, please. That'd be lovely. I do want to just quickly talk about as well. So I'm not going to go through like players I think we should sign. I'm not going to list any players, because let's be real, in League 1 and League 2, you don't know who you're going to end up with. It's literally just get a bucket full of the free agents, dip your hand in, boom, you got that player. A lot of fans are saying we need an experienced striker, experienced goal scorer for next season. Now, of course, every single fan base is going to say that every single season. What I will say, obviously, yes, we do need someone who can score goals. 1 or 2 people that can score goals. I mean, that's clearly, blatantly obvious. But I'm going to say that, like, remember, at the start of a season, you never know what you're going to get. We could sign someone like, as an example, right, I'm just using this one as an example. We could sign Michael Cheek in the summer, right? Michael Cheek, if you don't know, great goal scorer for Bromley over the last 3 years in the National League and in League 2. We could sign him next season and he could score 5 goals. You don't know. Ben Wayne could score 20 plus goals. You genuinely just don't know what you're going to get. You know, players work well in certain systems with certain players, etc, etc. Yeah, obviously, there's some players out there that have just got it and just continue to score. But in the lower leagues, you rarely find a player that just consistently scores loads of goals every single season. They do happen. Michael Cheek is an example of that, but it's something you rarely find. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the season, and yeah, hopefully I want to say this, do you guys want to see me do more videos like this where we just talk about the Vale? I know there's quite a few channels around now that are just like kind of based on the club they support, and they do videos like where they just talk about transfer rumours, or, you know, they do reviews of the matches they've seen, and, you know, just general chit chat about the club. If you guys want to see more videos of me talking about the Vale, then let me know in the comments below, because I found this one quite a bit fun, to be honest. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to smash that like button down below, subscribe if you like what you see and you want to see more, and if you don't want to miss a video, hit that little bell somewhere near the subscribe button and select all notifications, and you will not miss a video from me. Until next time, thanks so much for watching, and peace.